Good afternoon and welcome to my channel. For those who haven't been here before, my name is Bas, and today I want to talk to you about the first year of monetization of this channel, what it took to get here, how much I made, and was it all worth it. But first, I'll give you a little bit of background. So I started the channel in about 2020 or 2021 as a bit of an afterthought. We just moved to a rural piece of land, and I just wanted to document our progress for family and whoever was interested in looking at it. But the channel wasn't monetized until the end of 2024. So during the first 3 years, we probably published about maybe 50 videos, something like that, maybe 50 videos. And we had a couple of fluke successes, I guess you would call it. One of the success, which still today ranks the most views, is a video about cooking a cowboy bean recipe on fire with the background of old spaghetti western music. So I can't monetize this video itself because it's using music which I don't have the rights to. But still, to this day, it's probably got about 160,000 views and counting, still going. It's interesting. The second video was the second video that really took off was a little bit more intentional, and that's something I was looking online at. I was looking in my niche of topic and subjects, which is off-grid living, little quirky cabin projects, and cabin in the woods or cabin in the trees, etc. And I found a lot of videos about people building cabins, off-grid cabins, and I tried to replicate formulas that worked well. So thumbnail-wise, style of visuals, style of titles, etc. I made a first few little videos about the progress of the cabin that didn't really hit that much, but when I made the video about the full cabin build, that really took off. So when I made that first video about the cowboy beans, I probably went up to about, dare I say, I think it was 2023, probably about 200, 300 subscribers, maybe less. And when I made this video about the cabin maybe a year later, then I had about, like in the span of 1 month, I probably had 1,000 suppliers, 1,000 subscribers additional. So that really took off, and that's what took me over the line to get the 1,000 subscribers. Let me apologize for the noise the background noise that you might be hearing. I'm recording from my shed. It's a very simple operation here, and the noise that you hear is simply the rain falling on the roof. It's a metal tin roof. Going back to the video, so as I was saying, I made this second video that by itself was probably enough to get the channel to monetization, which is all you need. Is like one video that really performed well, because that one video brought me more than like 1,000 suppliers in the span of a couple of weeks. So it really allowed me to get that, and it also allowed me to go over the threshold for watch hours, which is 4,000 watch hours in the last 365 days to get to monetization. So all you need is one video. But after this video, I think I made a series of mistakes. Whether I could have avoided these mistakes, probably not. I mean, YouTube is definitely not my area of specialty. I just did it, or I'm just doing it because I'm interested in the media itself. I'm interested in the outreach, but it's definitely amateur hour here. I don't really know what I'm doing. I just want to share my own experience, so you guys can maybe derive some tips from it, or simply not repeat the same mistakes that I did. So some of the mistakes that I wanted to cover here as well, so you don't fall into the same traps. At the very, very beginning of my YouTube journey, I dare to say I had maybe 50 subscribers or so. I was interested into the YouTube promotion idea. I mean, the ideas that I had from it, which is like how it's really positioned, is that, well, you pay a certain amount and YouTube promotes more your videos to certain countries. And my thinking was, well, if they see it, they'll like it, and the love will spread eventually without having to pay for it. So I'll probably pay like 50 bucks or something to see how many subscribers I would get from that. And essentially what happens, I'm not sure how it works all underneath the bonnet, but it looks really really shady to me, where the view that I was getting, it seems to be a lot of subscribers that would just sign up to meet whatever threshold I would have put in the ad promotion campaign, and then slowly but surely you could see the number of subscribers going away after that. So yeah, a lot of that. And what I've noticed as well in those videos that I had paid for some form of advertisement on, once the campaign stopped, like the video will literally tank. Like nothing else would come to it. Like no subscribers, no more views. I mean, literally would like literally completely tank. So never again after that have I paid for any views or subscribers. So I probably got maybe like 10 or 20 new subscribers at the time, and rapidly sort of rolled that out for my YouTube growth. Another mistake, I guess, as I mentioned initially, I sort of had a niche in my head of where I wanted to go with this channel, which was a bit of a lifestyle, is still always to this day, a bit of a lifestyle channel around cabin building, off-grid building, taking care of the land we live on, etc., which I've seen quite a bit of examples on. I was interested in making this sort of content. But looking into many videos about people who knew what to do on YouTube, or coaches or YouTube experts and all that, you sort of get into the weeds of the titles, and you get into the weeds of what pleases the algorithm, etc. So you can get lost a little bit in terms of having to pick topics that you think are going to generate views. And initially I probably went a bit in that direction, where I wanted to test plenty of things out. So I veered away from my initial idea, my initial concept, and went and explored a whole bunch of different ideas, different formats, etc. So I guess if you're just going to test things out, it's fine. But in my case, because I had this set idea, which is still what I'm trying to do today, it probably confused the algorithm more than anything else. I think I probably would have, if it was to do it again, I probably would have focused on making better quality content and being more comfortable talking in front of the camera, being more comfortable with the, I guess the video editing, etc., rather than absolutely wanting to go viral on like the 25th video or something. So don't veer away too much. I guess that would have been one of my mistakes from your concept. Just work on the quality. I guess when you get into the rabbit hole of wanting to become viral on like your second video, and you're looking at the views, what generates the views, you build your videos in according to what system you think you found out, is you get into that rabbit hole of it becomes a bit obsessive about YouTube Studio, the views, what interest does it generate, and you sort of lose a little bit the enjoyable side of things. It's not, I mean, initially I have to bring it back to why do I do this? I did that because it was interesting to me. I was always interested in making those sorts of videos, even when I was a teenager, skateboarding or skimboarding. I was always interested in making short form content. And that's just something I wanted to do for myself and enjoy, not necessarily for the YouTube views or to become a YouTube professional, which I think is the case of a lot of people out there. Just want to put something out or show their friends, show their family, or just to update people on what they're doing, and show a funny side of things as well, and simply explore with the visual editing and I guess all sorts of different programs now you can play with on your computer. So when it becomes too obsessive about the views, you sort of lose sight of why you started this in the first place, and it becomes not enjoyable anymore. It just becomes a source of disappointment, because a lot of it initially is simply, not watched by anybody. Like nobody really cares about what you put out there. I mean, except for a few exceptions, of course, but I mean, you can't just start a YouTube career based on the few exceptions out there. I think when you look at, in the big scheme of things, I think when you look at the number of channels that have more than 1,000 subscribers, it's less, I think, than 10% of the entire amount of channels on YouTube. So most of the channels, they're just right here, just creating content for the sake of creating content. Another mistake, I guess, that I did, which doesn't work with the algorithm. You can see how the algorithm is quite robotic. I guess, and even if you do that for the pleasure, nothing, I guess, prevents you from doing that, which is the consistency. So whether you upload a video per month, or you upload a video per week, or you upload a video every day, I think it doesn't help to just upload videos. Again, if your idea is to get more views and to play along with the algorithm, I think it probably helps with just having a consistency in your uploading videos. So what I've learned so far after just popping videos out for 3-4 years, 1 year of monetization, I think now I have about 60 long format video, about 100 short format YouTube video. So I would, like I said before, I would stay on the quality of the video. That's probably the priority. You wanna increase the comfort around filming and filming yourself if that's what you're gonna do, but also on the video editing. I mean, in the end of the day, just want to put good content out there. If that's the primary purpose of, you picking up a camera, whether it's for you, for your family, your friends, or for YouTube or the entire world out there. I think that's the main thing, and people are not going to stay on the video, or it's not going to be interesting even to your friends and your family if the quality is crap. Pardon my French. So stay on the quality. The second one, I think it's to stay real and genuine. If you start to want to please the algorithm too much, or you really pick topics just because you think it's gonna make views, I don't know, somehow that human element is lost along the way. Like what we see and what we want to see in people, like me included, when I watch YouTube, is just real people, like real reactions. Like you want to see something genuine out there. Like so we're living in a world where there's so much fake content out there, fake people, that I think people are craving, for that down-to-earth, like real content or real genuine thoughts about any given topic. So, and even if it includes, I guess, failures, that's fine. That's what, I guess, that's what it takes to get eventually to success. So I think there is an audience really out there that really seeks this genuine. And in the end of the day, if you do something that's really you or really genuine, I mean, you can't really go wrong with it. Like in worst case scenario, there is something that is really you out there in the public, as opposed to you trying to fake a persona, and which you might be embarrassed by later on, if it ever comes back to you. So by being real in yourself, I mean, you can't really go wrong, unless you're psycho. But then again, that could be interesting as well from a YouTube channel perspective. What works for one YouTuber doesn't necessarily work for another YouTuber. So I think that's how I think about YouTube channels now. I mean, they all have their own world. They all have had a different ways to come up in where they are now, whether they have 1,000 subscribers or 1 million subscribers. They all have different paths. Like that's why when you look at somebody like Mr. Beast, for instance, and he has like really great advice, and I think, yeah, obviously as a greatest YouTuber in the world. But what works for him, like his thumbnails that are in a particular style, like really over the board and all that, I mean, that's not necessarily going to work for you, because different style, you have a different audience. And even though Mr. Beast has millions of subscribers or hundreds of millions of subscribers now, well, it might be just, I mean, your audience might not be watching him, and you might have a different audience out there. So by all means, like, have a look at what he does. He's the man, he's Mr. Beast. But whenever we see YouTubers trying to tell us that there is a formula for success, I'd be a bit cautious about that. In the end of the day, it's your imprint on the internet. It's you work on the quality, work on the video editing, make content that is interesting, and I think that's really what matters. Generally speaking, don't worry about the algorithm too much and the views. I mean, I understand that when you get to a point where it becomes a business, that's something you want to look at, because then there are performance indicators. Your revenue might vary depending on how many views you get. But until you get there, and believe me, I think it's going to take a while, until you get there, I mean, just do you, like, do interesting content. You don't care if, you know, a lot of people watch it. If a lot of people watch it, you're going to know about it, because you're going to see the comments come through, you're going to see subscribers, you're going to see probably, which I've had very limited experience of because we don't generate a lot of views, but you're going to see people coming to you for like brand deals, etc. So was it worth it? I think it was, but not in the sense that you would think. Like 2,170 subscribers. First year of monetization, I made about $800 Australian dollars, which is not much for a whole year of content. And my best month, which is where it's a bit interesting, my best month was probably when that video that I made about building the Camid came about, became monetized, continued making views. So yeah, I didn't get any money for the ramp up of that video, which is probably where it had most views. I made money once it was monetized, and it does take a little bit of time for a channel to be monetized. There's a few admin steps to go through, but once it got monetized, it continued generating some views, and I think the first few months I was getting $200 from that one video, like every month, and then the video was starting coming down, and now I'm getting like maybe $1 per month on this particular video. So money-wise, I mean, it wasn't really worth it. Like when you look at all the time you spend like filming and editing, etc. But I still pursue something that was very interesting to me, which was filmmaking, which was making funny videos for my kids, and so it was really cool, like in that sense for me, and that's why. Probably keep on doing it until I get bored of it, or until I make a career out of it. So I'm not really, I mean, I have a full-time job. It keeps me extremely busy already. I got 2 young kids, keeps me super busy. We're wife, we have an acreage here, so there's a lot of maintenance. So I really don't have much time to dedicate to YouTube. And I know that people say, especially those YouTube gurus, they say, well, you got to drop everything and just do YouTube if you want to be successful. I think there is some truth to that. If you want to be successful commercially wise, business wise on YouTube as a career, if you just want to take it and see where it goes, and just dedicate the time that you have. Like, it doesn't have to impede on your everyday life, and that's maybe where I've been before. It impeded a little bit on my everyday life, but now I'm just taking it. I'm just doing this whenever I have a few minutes. I'll do a bit of editing, or whenever I do something interesting on the weekend, I film it. So that's not going to stop. So where to from here? I'm just going to keep on doing my thing. If people want to watch it, they're great. Consistency, I'll try to work on it. But, you know, I'm not going to post videos just because it's the end of the week and I have to post a video, because that pushes me then to post stuff that I don't want to do or that's not interesting. So final thoughts, if you want to do YouTube, just do YouTube. Eventually, if you make something that is aesthetically pleasing to look at, that is interesting, that, you know, you can see that you're real, genuine on the screen, I mean, most likely that's going to generate some kind of interest. Eventually, you'll find an audience for whatever topic you're filming. So just do you. And if you're curious about seeing somebody building something really slowly and a family that's real, about the struggles of off-grid life, well, you're in the right place. So subscribe. And if you like this type of video around, I guess, the technicality of YouTube, I'm happy to share my experience. I don't have much, but I have what I have. So yeah, until next time. And if you like this video, put a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.